Welcome to the Creative Island Podcast.
A show aimed at helping creative individuals transform their passion into profession.
Each episode will share powerful strategies, tips, and practical tools to empower you to create the income, the lifestyle, and the legacy you were designed for.
We are your hosts, Adam Bowman
and Jason Pepper.
Enjoy the show. I like this new camera position though. It's nice.
Yeah, good.
Creative Island episode, who cares? Again, we're not counting anymore. We're 12 weeks into this thing, like in posting.
Sweet.
Like that's crazy to me. Like I thought about that the other day and I was like, we're actually like 12 consistent weeks on the grind. Like that's 2 months, right? Or no, that's 2.5 months, which is just, is that 4?
I think it's
3 times 4 is 12, buddy. Oh my God, my brain is munted. Well, there you go. There's the munted brain Creative Island intro for you. This one is going to be a fun one today because I'm sure a lot of artists go through this shit. But like to segue into it, I was like 2 hours late to the podcast today because I was procrastinating. And today's episode is going to be about procrastinating. So dial in. If you're a procrastinator, this one's for you. We're going to give you a lot of tips and tricks to get around procrastination. But Jason, what is procrastination in a nutshell?
All right. Well, procrastination's, we all do it. It's essentially just avoiding the things you need to do. And the reality is procrastination's just a decision like anyone. It's a choice and a really bad one at that. And so I see people all the time. It's the most tragic thing. People just get hung up and procrastinate and don't get things done. So today we're going to give some tips on how to manage procrastination, how to combat it, and how to prevent it. And so let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. What is it like? What does procrastination look like to you? Like look and feel like to you though, like when you're procrastinating?
Oh man, it looks like anything in any given time, depending on what I'm doing. But everybody does it. It's not just a me thing or a you thing.
Yeah.
Everybody procrastinates, and it doesn't matter how crazy entrepreneurial or results focused you are, you're still going to procrastinate that shit. And really what it is you're just choosing not to do the right things. Like that's all it is, right? And you can probably go a little bit deeper and find silly reasons why you think you shouldn't do something when you should do it. But the reality is the simple answer is like, you're just not doing the things you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But like, where do you think it comes from in most people? I know it's going to be different for a lot of people, but where do you think like it's rooted in? Like they just don't want to do it, or it's like they've built up this energy, like resenting it and they don't want to do it that way. Or is it just like an amalgamation of a ton of things?
And it's different for everybody, but it's a choice at the end of the day. Like it's a choice. And so I just want to give you some tools today to hopefully make a better choice when you get to those situations.
Okay, let's get into it, dude. Tools.
All right. So, well, maybe it could be one thing. It could be this, because starting a business is a really creative process. And everybody listening to this, we're creative people, right?
Yeah.
Starting a business is a really creative process, but then building a business is monotony.
Oh, okay.
And there's a big difference between the two. And that's why you see a lot of creative people start businesses all the time, but then they never go anywhere. Because what it takes to build a business is monotony, not creativity. Or less creativity, more monotony.
And use a synonym for monotony for those, aka me, who don't understand what monotony means.
It's doing consistent things for a long period of time.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, you've been saying about like it's the extraordinary consistency, not just the ordinary.
Yeah, doing the consistent things over and over and over and over and over and over. People aren't good at that. And people don't like to do that. People like change. People like to switch things up. And
I definitely do that.
But the problem is most things that you procrastinate on are exactly the things that'll make you a freaking fortune.
That's so true.
And it's so true in all our businesses. You can look at all the things you're not doing and all the things you're procrastinating on. Those are the exact things that you need to do to make a fortune.
Yeah.
So we'll go through a couple of things on like how to nip that stuff right away and not let it linger, because you got to condition yourself out of procrastinating. Procrastinating is like, it's a mindset. And it's a condition thing, and it's like a default setting, and we just got to reprogram that a little bit. So there's a few things that I like to go through.
And I feel like before you get into it, like coming from just graduating film school, a degree program, like a year and a bit ago, almost like actually basically like a year ago is when I graduated, so I'm a full year out. But like that, I found that procrastination, because it's so easy to procrastinate in school because you just don't want to do anything unless it's fun. Like that's for me anyways. But I feel like that bleeds out into like my business and stuff, because it's just like, it's like programmed into you, like anything gets programmed into you, and it just carried over. But I noticed like now it's more about just like getting it done than just procrastinating and like stop thinking about it. But let's hear these tools, dude.
Yeah. So
I need these tools,
you got to get around it, because procrastination's, it's literally going to kill you, and it's going to kill your business if you don't get a hold of it. Right. So I've got some ways that I like to recognize it in me, because I went to an event a long time ago, and I'll just share a quick story about it. And the speaker was like going around the room, and it was one of these entrepreneurial events, and there was like a lot of heavy hitters and real kind of grinding workaholics in the room, right? Guys that just results focused guys. And the speaker was like, okay, how many of you guys procrastinate in the room? No hands go up, because they're like, I do not procrastinate. The whole audience. No, and it's true, right? So the speaker goes up to one of the guys in the front row, right, that didn't raise his hand, and he goes like, okay, like, Tom, tell me about your business. Oh, I own this company with this many employees or whatever. And he goes, Tom, do you think that there's some employees or some people in your business that maybe you have to have a conversation with? Maybe you got to release them to go to another organization.
Interesting.
He goes, yeah, of course, I got a few of those. And the guy goes, well, why haven't you done it yet? It was like, bingo. So procrastination, in a way, like sometimes people don't even know they're procrastinating. Yeah. And so the first level of recognizing it and stopping it is awareness. Okay, so number one's awareness. And we all have that angel voice and the devil voice, on each shoulder.
Definitely.
And you've got angel voice that's saying, go hit your goals, go do your sales calls, go to that networking event, go build your business.
Just get it the fuck done.
Let's get the results that you actually want. And then you have devil voice on the other side going, one more day will make a difference. Stay in bed. It's nice and warm.
Sit on the couch, eat chips.
Watch TV, finish that Netflix series. You work hard, take a break, and you get all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So the first thing is just being aware of that, because when that starts to creep in, you gotta say, devil voice, cancel. I need to get back over to angel voice. I need to listen to my angel voice. And so that's awareness. And then number 2 is prevention. And I have this thing, somebody told me this years ago, one of my mentors, and he goes, the 5-second rule. And it's not like I drop something on the ground and like...
I mean, it applies to both.
It applies to both. But no, I'm not talking about when you drop food on the ground, 5 seconds later, you're still okay to eat it. I mean, the 5-second rule of you got to get off your butt in 5 seconds and get moving towards the thing that you're supposed to be doing. 5 seconds, that's it.
Just those quick decisions.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Like, you want to get up in the morning, your alarm goes off, you got to be in the gym. Don't grab your phone. Don't roll back over and pull the sheet. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your feet are on the ground and you're moving. It's really tough, but you got to condition for it because it's not an easy thing to just get a hold of.
Yeah.
Same thing with like your business. Oh, you know what? I don't need to make those. Devil voice starts going, I don't need to make those cold calls.
Yeah.
I can do it tomorrow.
Go get a snack.
Oh my god, it's lunchtime. Go get some food. Put the phone down.
Yeah, watch some YouTube videos.
And then angel voice is going, you frickin' moron, pick up the phone, dial for dollars. You need to grow your business. You need to do all these things. And so, 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get going.
It sounds easy. Like, it sounds really easy, but I'm so bad at it because, like when I have off days where I'm just editing, like what I call my off days is where it's just like working from home. I'm sure you have those days too, where it's mainly like grinding from the home office. And a lot of those days I'm like, oh, I can hit the gym in the morning, blah, 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 blah. But those mornings I find like I get up, I'm on TikTok, Instagram for like an hour. And I'm like, oh, I already would have been halfway through a workout right now.
Totally.
And then I get up and I'm like, oh, I need a coffee. And I have a coffee. And then it's like, oh, well, now I got to take a shit now because I had a coffee. I'm just like, all right, well, now I should eat something before I go. And then it's like, you'd be home, showered, working already, but you're not even at the gym yet. And I feel like it literally will come down to, no, get out of bed, get out of that warm bed and just like get those shoes on, get a coffee, walk to the gym. Like, I feel like I could, because then if you start at the beginning of the day and like those decisions will get easier, I guess, like, as the day progresses too, because you've already been like, let's go.
Totally. Yeah. It's just that conditioning, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get your feet on the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get your gym shorts on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get in your car and start driving to the networking event. Like start moving in the direction, build the momentum and get through it. But then I wanted to touch on one of the points you made, and that's the last point, which is protection. You got to protect yourself from distractions. Yeah. You have to. And so stop getting distracted is the last point. And family, friends, unimportant business or relationships that you have. You have to be really protective on what you let into your day and into your calendar. You got to master your calendar. And like Facebook, social media, all that stuff, you should have a scheduled time set. That's it. Like it's not just a random pick it up and go.
Yeah.
Because you're going to burn a ton of useful time throughout the day. They have all these great ad blockers now or app blockers.
Yeah, you put like a time constraint on them. Yeah.
That's it. And
I'll
stops
never
you.
do it.
But that's,
I know.
You got to protect it or else you're going to go back into this cycle of like, all over again.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, I think it just like at the end of the day, procrastination just sucks. Because like, well, the other day I was just like going off what I was saying, sort of like when you said like, oh, it's lunchtime. And I did that. I was like editing for a couple hours. I was like, oh yes, it's lunchtime. I'm gonna make a grilled cheese. And I was like, I'm gonna start like a Netflix docuseries. Like screw it, I haven't been watching. The devil was like, oh, you haven't been watching a lot of movies lately. Like you should catch up on some movies or TV shows. I was like, yeah. Before I knew, I watched the whole thing. It was like 3 hours back to back to back. I get up to my desk. It's like 7:00. I'm like, where did the time go? And then it's like once you hit the like for me, and I know for you especially, once it hits the like later in the day, it's harder to do work than like when you're fresh in the morning, like you just had that coffee, like it's like go time. So yeah, I don't know what the point of that was, but it's just like, I feel like, if you start implementing them, I'm going to touch base with you on the next set of podcasts to see if I can like just unleash some of that procrastination. Cause it definitely is taking advantage of a lot of free time that I have, or like not free time. Like it's making free time or work time into procrastination time. It's not productive at all.
Totally. Well, you got to nip it. And like we talked in other episodes about like maybe delegating things you don't like to do. So it's okay to endure suffering in a task that you don't like to do to a certain point.
Yeah.
But then to a certain point, you have to say, okay, I just can't do this task anymore. I have to delegate it, right?
Yeah.
And procrastination sometimes comes from that.
Interesting.
But at the end of the day, you have angel voice and devil voice. Try to keep on track. Your angel voice is telling you and helping you get to your goals, telling you what you need to do. Your intuition's telling you. And then you've got this freaking devil voice that comes in and says, no, go watch Netflix.
Yeah, and like
chill.
The angel voice is a lot less convincing as a devil voice. Like the devil voice has a lot of tricks up its sleeve. It knows your Maslow hierarchy of needs. It knows that like, I can just come in here and screw your day up like that.
Totally. You know what's funny? I heard something the other day and it was like, somebody said this on a podcast or something I was listening to. And it was like, the body doesn't remember pain. It only remembers pleasure. So that's why every day when we get out of bed, like we're not like imagine if we remembered pain all the time, right? Imagine every time we had some pain or event that triggered us, we'd never leave the house.
No,
we'd never get out of bed in the morning.
Definitely happens to some people for sure.
Yeah. But then we always remember the pleasure, which is kind of an interesting thing. And then devil voice is like the pleasure side.
Yeah.
And angel voice is like the pain side, right? The suffering side where you got to go through and do what you got to do, right? Mm-hmm. And anyway.
No, 100%. Yeah, I heard this story. This kid, he's like a friend of a friend. I've never met him, but I want to have him on the podcast when we start doing guests a lot because he's been doing a podcast or he just got a book out. I think he's like a couple years older than me. I don't really know, but he's a public speaker at like middle schools and high schools and stuff like that. And he has this whole thing where like he has this huge like JanSport backpack. And it's just like, it's called like empty your backpack sort of thing where it's just like stop putting your stuff on other people and vice versa. But he was saying early on, like he had booked, I think he had only done like 200 speaking gigs at this point. So it was just earlier in his career and he didn't really do a calendar thing at that time because it was so little, like it was like maybe 1 or 2 a week so he could budget for each one. But like he got a call and it was like, oh, yo, like you're the keynote speaker. You have like a 2-hour speech and it starts at 5 minutes. And he was like an hour and a half away from the venue. And it's just like, I don't know if that came from procrastination of doing the calendar, but he said afterwards, he's like, I calendar everything to like a minute. Like he has like the obscure minutes where it's like 11:37, do that. You know what I mean? And I just like, that just goes to show that once you implement like, or stop implementing procrastination and be more proactive in your life, you can start just like slaying the day 100%. And he said he never missed a gig after that. And that fired me up. And I was like, hey, I got to start doing my calendar even more. Cause I do it to an extent, but not as much as I should. And that definitely comes from procrastination. Cause I literally on my calendar, I'll put it in and I'll hit the all day thing and just like have a time like in like the comment bar where you write it down. So I've missed stuff 100% of the time. Not 100% of the time, but a lot, because I just don't have it itemized. And that comes from procrastination 100%.
Yeah,
So
totally.
it just goes to show it ruins your day.
It's tough. You got to master the calendar. Like mastering your calendar is super important, but the reality is you're never going to eliminate procrastination. You're always going to have some degree of it. But you want to be aware of it, you want to prevent it, and then you want to protect yourself from it in the future. And you just want to condition that, instill that in you so that when you do get it, you recognize it immediately and you're just like, great, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I need to get moving.
So how do you think people can recognize it a lot easier than they normally would? Like that first part, awareness.
Well, awareness comes from, like I said earlier, get really clear on what your goals are. Like, what are your goals? If your goals are to make a certain amount of money or to build a certain relationship or go to a networking event and get something done, if you have any narrative inside of your brain that's telling you, no, don't do it, or no, do it tomorrow, or let's just delay it one more day, those are signs that's it's not good. Like that's the things to be aware of,
And then, that's tough. Because it's just, back to the devil voice, because it's just so cozy. Like, who wants to get out of bed in the morning in a cold, damp house? Like today, it's raining today. Nobody does want to get out of bed, dude.
But anybody that wants success has got to do things that normal people don't want to do, and that's just the reality.
No, 100%. So. Do you have any crazy procrastination stories that really screwed the pooch for you?
Too many to recall.
Oh, come on. There's got to be one.
There's so many. I think...
Because I'm trying to think of some that really screwed me over. But I think it's more like, I just feel like the bulk of my procrastination comes from editing, because I've done it so much. I know how it works. I know like the beginning of the edit, the middle of the edit, and then the edits back from the client. Like it's all procrastination is weaved in there, because I've done it 100,000 times. Well, probably not that much, but close to. Like I put in well over my 10,000 hours in editing. I just know I know the narrative. I know the narrative when I go in to edit the podcast and stuff like that. I know how it's going to be. Like when it's fresh and new, like you're saying at the beginning, it's easier because you haven't hit all those blocks. But like as soon as you like work around those and you know like, it's going to be like 4 hours no matter what. But then I notice that like when I still procrastinate, that 4 hours turns into 5 or 6, because like I'll do something, kick the feet up, go on the phone and be like, there's like half an hour just wasted on TikTok. And you're right back where you said. It's a reminder every single time for editing now. Because like when I stop procrastinate, I go back, nothing's changed. It's the same clips, like same playheads at the same clip, and nothing happens. And it's just like it bites me in the ass because I don't really change. Like some edits are fun and it's easier, but some of them, like the podcast, is literally just like front to back, wall to wall editing. So like it definitely, editing is like the bulk of my procrastination. It trickles down from there too, but it just sucks.
Like you just have to be aware of it, and you got to just power through and get a system. Like I like to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing. Or if I really don't like doing something, I just find someone else to do it. Like I'll be way more productive paying somebody to do something that I don't like to do. Because I'll make more money doing the thing I like to do than I can justify paying somebody for the other.
Well, that's perfect segue into our first Creative Island employee, Mr. AI.
Bingo.
Shout out Autopod. Autopod, we're going to hopefully get you as a sponsor one day so we don't have to pay for it. But it's only like $20 a month. But basically, like you're just saying, I had to delegate the task. Because if it was, let's say, this podcast is probably going to be like maybe a half hour. It's like an hour of editing at least, because it's like double the time. I have to go back, make sure the cuts are good. But for this thing, I explained this to you before, but again, like I assign like your video clip 1 on video clip 2, matching audio. You assign that in this little window that pops up, and then you just like merge all the clips basically, and then you hit Autopod and it like renders it, and then within like the one that we just did was like 45 minutes long. I did it in like maybe under a minute, maybe just over a minute. And then I noticed it's better than me because it goes from the waveform of the audio. I know this is getting really nerdy really quick, but it tracks like the waveform and it knows like that's when you're speaking, because that clip is like married, your video clip's married to the audio clip. So like if there's more edits, it's more interesting than I would, because usually if I did it yas and mm-hms when you're talking, I wouldn't cut those in, but this does. So it's more energetic. So I'm like, we already... like by spending this $20 a month, delegated those tasks away, which is going to save me honestly like 12 to 20 hours a month of editing.
There you go. What do you charge per hour for your edits? Like that's what you just saved. So,
and then like it sucks because like I would have wanted to have like, pay a human being to do that, obviously, because I like, paying humans to do this. But one, the work's not amazing. It's not the funnest work in the world. And two, it's like to pay someone to edit that is, I think it'd be 200 times the amount, probably something like that. Like it'd be stupid expensive to pay someone to edit these and like all the clips and stuff. So there, we mitigated procrastination though, because I can do it in like, I can edit them all in a day rather than just one in a day sort of thing, if you get what I mean.
So important.
So it's perfect.
So important. I was thinking about that story. I think I have a story. Earlier this year, I had an opportunity to kind of level up and get a new customer. It was a big contract. And I got an email from this, I got a call from this person. And they were like, hey, this is so-and-so from this company, and, we'd like to do some work with you. We'll send over some stuff. You could revise it, put together a package for us and send it back, or a quote. I was like, great, awesome. Yeah, we had a great productive conversation. And then, again, I work a lot of hours, and sometimes I'm not back into my office until 7 or 8 o'clock at nighttime, right? And then, as you know, I got a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
And so my household is like, it's pretty tough. And it's easy for me to fall into I'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
They don't need it tonight.
Yeah.
They can get it tomorrow. And I did that. And I think I told myself that for 2 or 3 days, and I lost the contract.
No way.
Yeah. I did finally send it to them, but they had found another company to work with, and I haven't heard from them since. So that's it would have been a relationship that added a significant amount of,
and that's a wake up call,
revenue on my income. Yeah. So,
because that same thing happened to me 100%. Like I used to get emails in, like building off what you're saying, and I'd be like, oh, I could just wait a little bit. Like they don't need this today. It's like Saturday. I'm not in the office on Saturday, blah, 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 lose the job. Now, as soon as I see, it doesn't matter what time it is, doesn't matter if I'm on set, if I get an email from someone who's a new client, like existing clients is a little bit different because like I already have the rapport, but I still try to be really time sensitive. But as soon as I get an email in, I'm like, boom, like let's see what I can do, upsell, charge like crazy and bring it back down. And then like that's happened like this past 2 weeks, or like 2.5 weeks, insane for me. Like absolutely, I've just been crushing it. Like, and it feels amazing because it fires you up. But it's literally just because I get a lead, attack the lead, go for it. And then like some of the times it doesn't work out, which is fine, like with every lead.
Totally.
But like I just noticed that before, like when I was still in film school, I had the whole, I'm a student, like I don't really need to work 80 hours a week, blah, 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 blah. But now I notice that like, if I just attack these clients, like in a positive way, obviously, I can get way more business. It's way better for them because they're like, holy shit, this person like emailed me back within 5-10 minutes, And that's how I got like, I shot some ads for the Davina Dali exhibit. And then like I shot a couple music videos just because I was like, boom, boom, boom. And then what I noticed too, it's good for business. I learned this from you is like, and a couple other YouTube clips that I saw, but if I can't accomplish the task and someone sends it to me, I instantly delegate it to someone I know who can do it. Like if I'm double booked that day or whatever. And I noticed that like people love that shit.
Oh, they love it.
Because like sometimes like I noticed in the past, I used to just be like, I can't do that. Sorry, go find someone else. But I'm like, now I'm like, I can't do that, but I know someone who can do a really good job and they love that. And then sometimes like they'll just keep on going to that person in the future, but they'll come back to me and be like, do you know anyone or can you do this? And it's so good because it's really good for business.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, then we can look at the opposite of procrastination and go, okay, well, it's at the other end of the spectrum is you just immediately respond to customers. You get an inquiry, you get a lead, somebody calls you for a project, and all of a sudden you're like lickety split. You're the first guy to respond. Nobody else is doing that.
Yeah.
So you immediately, like, I don't know what the percentage is. It might be 60 or 70% of all leads that come in that I respond within half an hour. Yeah. We'll get it. Bang. We get the contracts, or we get the business, or we get a relationship, or we get something out of it that's beneficial, versus the ones that wait 2 or 3 days or a day or till the next business day or something. They're cold. They've already moved on.
Yeah.
They found somebody that responded.
Yeah.
They feel like they're already in a bit of a relationship with someone now. And you lose it. It's extremely hard to win them back.
Yeah.
So sometimes procrastinating,
totally,
it's tough. It's a hard one.
Because if you think about it,
it's a decision.
There's like that whole thing about first impressions are everything, which is like thrown out a lot, like first impression first. But if it's like, if you email within the first half an hour, that sets the scope of like how you do business. Totally. You're not gonna, just like wander around. You're not gonna wait. You're not gonna waste their time. You're gonna get it done on time and hopefully on budget is like my goal for a lot of that stuff.
So much of that is just showing up. Like just show up.
Literally. And
don't procrastinate. Just
honestly,
show up.
To that point too, pick up the phone. I noticed like within the last month by just like emailing sucks. I fucking hate emailing. Like, it's good for bulk information where like you need stuff written down so everyone's on the same page. But like in terms of a communication in any regard of just like creative decisions and stuff like that, like for this Davina Dali thing, I got the woman's phone number, called her right away. I was just like, hey, like, what can I do? And they're like, oh, like, we need ads, like, just a little bit down the line. I was like, no, my availability is tomorrow. I'm coming in tomorrow. And she's like, okay, sure. And like, it was just fantastic because I just like, I mean, I'm still waiting on a lot of their notes, and like, I think I did a good job. We're still waiting to hear. But like, it was just like, the rapport off the bat was just amazing because like I was on time. I did like just cold calling, not even cold calling, hot calling, just like sets the tone of how your relationship's going to go with these people a lot of the time.
Totally. Yeah. Like, take action. That's what it is. Yeah. Like there's no power in knowledge unless you take action. Mm-hmm. Like, look at how many university professors know so much, but they're just teaching it. They don't actually take action. They're not like, I have guys
That's a good point.
No, it's so funny. In business school, there was, I don't know how many professors I had, like, you know, through different courses or whatever it was, that never ran a business in their entire life.
Dude, that's crazy.
Or they did, but they didn't run really crazy businesses, and then they went in to teach business, you know, and it was like, that was such a bizarre thing to me.
Dude, same thing in film school. You see a lot of people, I don't want to call anyone out, I don't mean to like, you know, disservice to anyone, but like you see a lot of people, they like go to get a degree and then maybe do a master's, and then within like 2-3 years, they turn around and start teaching. I'm like, you haven't been in the field. You don't know what you're teaching. You just know it as an itemized list to like regurgitate to kids. And that's what like a lot of professors that I loved, it was like they spent like 20-30 years in the industry, and they're just like, I've done it all. Man. I've seen it all, and I still want to make money because, you know, like film, in a big sense, it's a trade. Like, you don't, like, a lot of the times, excuse me, you can't make a shit ton of money. So a lot of people go into teaching and just, you know, say what they, and I like having the conversations after class with people or professors where you can tell they know what they're talking about, and you just want to pick their brain and get more nuggets, but like, it's not necessarily in the plan of the day or whatever. But then there's some professors, like I said before, it's just like, yeah, you have no credibility. You've lost me at your credentials, like, immediately.
No, totally. So yeah, don't procrastinate. Be committed to your success. Like, I don't know why procrastination's just like, you're hesitating. What are you hesitating for?
Yeah.
You know, be committed to your success. And if you find you're procrastinating a lot, there's some tools we went through in this podcast. You know, be aware of it, prevent it, and protect yourself from it in all costs, because you want to get stuff done.
Yeah, and then like, I think like just what we were saying at the end, if you do notice like the awareness part, if you do notice yourself procrastinating a lot and the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing is not really working, just try to do the exact opposite of procrastination and just attack it as hard as you can, and then find a balance. Because like you said, you can't really just give away procrastination. It's gonna live with you. It's a part of being humans, 100%. But like, try to find the balance where like you're still winning every day instead of just like succumbing to procrastination, you know?
Or turn up the intensity.
Yeah.
I like to do this one thing. Like, when I find my energy starts to get low and I have to get over a hard task, I'll just turn the intensity up. So I start to get really intense about it, you know, and I start getting really short with people. But that's what I need to do to kind of get myself into that momentum again.
Yeah.
So
sick.
That being said,
how about this is what I want to say at the end of the podcast, because it might bite me in the ass. But how about them Toronto Maple Leafs, bro?
Man,
it's a crazy game. It's gonna be funny because this is gonna go out in 2 weeks, so they could already be knocked out of the playoffs again. But I just thought I had to throw it in there because, like, man, 19-year drought of first round exits, bro.
3-0 wins on the road. Pretty impressive for the boys.
Anyway, shout out the Leafs. We're going to have one of the Leafs on the podcast one of these days, bro. That's one of the goals, 100%.
There you go.
All right, thanks, guys.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And if you'd like to be notified of more episodes, please be sure to follow the Creative Island Podcast now.
Want access to exclusive content, our community newsletter, live events, and so much more? Visit creativeisland.online today to join the Creative Island community.
See you at the top.